We're on lesson 3 of chapter 4, in which we'll write linear equations in point-slope form. First, we're going to graph an equation in point-slope form. Then we're going to use point-slope form to write an equation. Then we're going to solve a real-world problem. Point-slope form is the best tool to use when you know the point and the slope of a linear equation. Point-slope form is shown by this equation down here. It's y minus a point of y equals the slope times x minus the point of x. Or another way of saying this is the difference between two y points will equal the slope times the difference of two x points. So here's an example of this. We have a line with a slope of 3 that passes through 2, 4. If you notice, I have a point and I have a slope. Here's my point, here's my slope. So I can write this in point-slope form. I can do y minus y1, so y minus negative 4 would be y plus 4. The other point I have is 2, so it would be x minus 2, as I have down here. And you multiply the slope times the x, which is 3. And by simply plugging in 3 numbers into an equation, I now have the linear equation for this line. Let's try this with graphing. It tells us to graph the equation y plus 2 equals 2/3 x plus 3. Remember, this is point-slope form. First thing we can focus on is the point where it starts. If you remember our form equation, it was y minus the y point, x minus the x point, times the slope. So what is the x point and what is the y point? Well, x minus the x point, so the x point must be 3. The y point, we have y plus 2. That means that we must have subtracted a negative 2. So therefore, y would be negative 2. I have 3 and negative 2 for my point. And now the slope, which is just right here, 2/3. So we know how to do this. We can graph a point at 3, negative 2, 3, negative 2. And now we can use a slope that rises 2 and runs 3. Up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3, left 3 down 2, left 3 down 2. And that was a really quick graph. And that's the nice thing about point slope. This goes pretty quick. Now we can work backwards. We actually can write an equation in point-slope form for this line here. Remember, point-slope form, we focus on points and the slope. Well, I see 2 points here, so really you can take your pick. I'm going to choose the one with both positive values, a positive value for x and a positive value for y. Remember, the simple equation is y minus the y point, y1, equals slope m, x minus the x point, x1. For this point, x is 1, so it would be x minus 1. For this point, y is also 1, so it would be y minus 1. My slope, it goes down 2 over 2. So that's a rise of negative 2, run of 2. So negative 2 over 2 gives us a slope of negative 1. And then that's our point-slope form equation. Now let's solve a real-world problem. You are designing a sticker to advertise your band. A company charges $225 for the first 1,000 stickers and 80 cents for each additional sticker. Write an equation that gives the total cost in dollars of stickers as a function of the number of stickers ordered. Find the cost of 9,000 stickers. So these are the type of word problems that work really well with point-slope form because we've been given a point and we've been given the slope. For example, the point has been given when it tells us that a company charges $225 for 1,000 stickers. That means if stickers are your x and dollars are your y, you would have 1,000 for x, 225 for y. And then it tells you that 80 cents is for each additional sticker. That means the rate of change, or the slope, is 0.8 or 0.80. So now we can create our slope-intercept equation. We have y minus y1, y minus 225, equaling the slope, which is 0.8, and that's times x minus 1,000. So here's what's so great about point slope form. When you have to find another point, for example, we need to find the cost of 9,000 stickers. So when x equals 9,000, we can solve for the y by plugging in the 9,000 for x. So if we rewrite this equation, we have y minus 225 equals 0.8 times 9,000 minus 1,000. 9,000 minus 1,000 is 8,000. 8,000 times 0.8 is $6,400. So now we have y minus 225 equals 6,400. We can get y by itself to find the total price by adding 225 to both sides to get rid of that. So therefore, y equals $6,625. And that's how much it would cost you to print 9,000 stickers. So just to review, we plugged in the point and the slope in the point slope form equation. We plugged in the point for x to plug in 9,000 here, and then we just solved it. Then we get our answer for y.